Yeah, he had a great run, and it's fun to watch. I think I watched Indiana State and Iowa. Caitlin Clark play about the same last year, so I was watching a lot of basketball.
Basketball legend Larry Bird has just delivered a message that no one saw coming, and it's left rising star Caitlin Clark completely speechless. Known for his reserved nature and sharp insight, Bird's powerful words weren't just praise. They carried a deeper meaning that shook the entire basketball community. His statement about Clark's talent, mindset, and future in the game has fans buzzing and analysts stunned. So, what exactly did the NBA icon say that moved her so deeply? Today, we reveal Larry Bird's unforgettable words to Caitlin Clark. The phenomenon redefining the game, the sound of sneakers against hardwood, the crowd's rising roar, and that unmistakable confidence in her stride. Caitlin Clark has turned basketball into more than just a game. It's become her stage, her revolution. With her pinpoint shooting, fearless drives, and magnetic energy, she's doing what few athletes ever manage, transforming a sport from the inside out. From Des Moines to the biggest arenas in the country, Caitlin's name echoes through every conversation about the future of basketball. When Larry Bird, one of the NBA's most respected legends, spoke about Caitlin in a rare, heartfelt interview, his words carried the weight of experience. Bird, who once shouldered the expectations of an entire generation, didn't just praise her, he defended her. He saw in Caitlin a reflection of what he once faced: talent met with skepticism, brilliance clouded by endless scrutiny. But instead of dismissing her rise as hype, Bird called it what it truly is: a moment of transformation for the sport. He called her jump shot one of the purest I've seen in years, and her court vision something special, something that can't be taught. Yet Bird's admiration went beyond skill. He celebrated her poise. Every foul, every shove, every headline questioning her worth only seems to make her stronger. According to Bird, resilience is what separates the great from the unforgettable. But while legends praise her, Caitlin's rise hasn't been without resistance. Some critics question whether her success is sustainable or if she's been overly glorified by the media. Others claim her fiery competitiveness makes her polarizing, yet those same criticisms echo the early years of icons like Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant, players who changed the game not by fitting in, but by standing out. Iverson himself called her a game changer, admiring her ability to score fearlessly under pressure and her drive to inspire young athletes to believe they can dominate any court. From her college dominance at Iowa, where she rewrote the record books and turned ordinary games into national events, to her WNBA debut that shattered viewership records, Caitlin has made the impossible seem routine. Every deep three-pointer, every slick assist, every clutch performance adds to a growing legacy that's pulling new fans into the sport. What makes her truly remarkable isn't just her stats, it's her spirit. Bird compared her impact to the rivalry he shared with Magic Johnson in the 1980s, which redefined basketball's place in popular culture. Caitlin, he said, is doing the same for women's basketball. Her presence has turned WNBA games into must-watch events, drawing millions of new eyes to the league and forcing sponsors, broadcasters, and fans alike to pay attention. She's more than a player, she's a movement, a symbol of how skill, determination, and authenticity can change perceptions. Her influence is already being felt in high schools, college gyms, and even playgrounds where young girls now pull up from half-court with confidence, whispering her name under their breath. Caitlin Clark's story is still being written, but one thing is certain: she's not waiting for permission to be great. She's already reshaping the future of basketball, one fearless shot at a time. And as Larry Bird put it best, Caitlin isn't just playing the game, she's redefining it for everyone who'll come after her. But could history be repeating itself? Let's dive into how Caitlin Clark's rise mirrors the fierce rivalry of Bird and Magic, and why this moment could reshape basketball again, when legends recognize legends. Long before Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese were breaking headlines and shattering records, basketball had seen something similar. A rivalry so electric, it changed the sport forever. It was 1979 when two young men, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, faced off in the NCAA championship. That game didn't just crown a winner, it reignited America's love for basketball. The intensity, the rivalry, the mutual respect, it all became the heartbeat of the NBA's rise through the 1980s. Now, decades later, many believe history is repeating itself. Only this time, it's happening in the WNBA. The women's NCAA tournament of recent years didn't just draw attention, it captivated millions. Viewership soared to record-breaking numbers, surpassing expectations and sparking debates that spilled beyond sports media. At the center of this storm were two names impossible to ignore: Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Their rivalry, fierce, emotional, and undeniably entertaining, has done for women's basketball what Magic and Bird once did for the men's game. Fans can't get enough of it. Every matchup feels like a cultural event, every stat line like a headline. It's not just about their on-court skills, it's about what they represent. Caitlin Clark, with her deep shooting range and court vision, has been hailed as one of the most gifted offensive players the WNBA has ever seen. Angel Reese, on the other hand, embodies grit, dominance, and charisma, a player who refuses to back down, who thrives in the noise and pressure. Together, they've reignited passion for a league that many had underestimated. Even Magic Johnson himself has weighed in on the phenomenon, and his words carry the weight of experience. The Hall of Famer, who now owns the Los Angeles Sparks, couldn't help but draw parallels between himself and Bird and this new generation of stars. "Caitlin reminds me of how it started for us," he reportedly said during a recent interview. "She's not the best yet, but neither was I when I joined the league. We became great through competition, through pushing each other. That's what's happening now in the WNBA." And he's right. Just as Bird and Magic elevated each other, so too are Caitlin and Angel redefining what women's basketball looks like. Their presence isn't just about rivalry, it's about transformation. Already, attendance and merchandise sales have skyrocketed. WNBA highlights dominate social media, and for the first time in years, casual fans are tuning in not out of curiosity, but out of loyalty. Behind the buzz lies something even more profound: evolution. The game itself is changing. Clark's high-speed playmaking and deep shooting are forcing defenses to adapt, while Reese's physical dominance is inspiring new strategies in rebounding and interior play. Coaches are rethinking lineups. Players are pushing harder in training. Young girls across the world are practicing step-backs and post moves, dreaming of becoming the next Caitlin or Angel. Financially, too, the ripple effect is undeniable. Sponsorships are climbing, media coverage is expanding, and the WNBA, once considered a niche, is now stepping confidently into mainstream relevance. Magic Johnson once predicted this day would come, that women's basketball would find its golden age. Few could have guessed that it would arrive this soon, and that it would be powered by two fierce competitors who, like him and Bird decades ago, understand that rivalry isn't about division, but about legacy. Whether fans take sides or simply sit back to watch, one thing is clear: the WNBA's story is entering its most thrilling chapter yet. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese may stand on opposite ends of the court, but together, they've reminded the world why we fell in love with basketball in the first place. But what if the rise of Caitlin and Angel signals a new era, one that could rival legends like Chris Paul? Chris Paul's powerful message to Caitlin Clark. When people talk about the greatest point guards of all time, one name always rises to the top: Chris Paul. For nearly 2 decades, he has been the very definition of a point god, embodying the perfect blend of vision, control, and leadership. But lately, basketball fans have started noticing something remarkable: a new name, a new energy, a new version of brilliance on the court. Caitlin Clark. And in what felt like a symbolic passing of the torch, Chris Paul himself acknowledged her rise, drawing parallels between his early years and her electrifying rookie season. It was during a lighthearted but heartfelt video message organized by their mutual partner State Farm that Paul looked straight into the camera, reflecting on what it meant to be a Rookie of the Year, just as Clark had become. "That's a huge achievement," he said with a knowing smile, "and you should be proud. But after I won mine, what I wanted more than anything was to get stronger, faster, better on defense. Coming from one of the most disciplined players in basketball history, it wasn't just advice, it was a mentorship moment that spanned generations." Paul didn't stop there. He spoke about the part that fans rarely see, the emotional side of the game. "You've got to lean on your family," he reminded her. "They're your foundation. The league is tough, the travel is endless, and the pressure is real. But your support system will keep you grounded." That quiet wisdom struck a chord with many who've watched Clark shoulder the intense spotlight that comes with being the most watched player in the WNBA's modern era, and then came the praise, genuine, specific, and overflowing with admiration. Paul began listing her accomplishments with a grin. Most points by a rookie in WNBA history. Most assists by a rookie in WNBA history. 3-time Eastern Conference Player of the Week. 4-time Rookie of the Month. I could go on and on. You could hear the pride in his voice, not just as a fellow athlete, but as someone who recognizes greatness when he sees it. "Watching you hoop day in and day out," he continued. "The behind the back, the deep threes, but more than that, it's your passion, your joy, and how you make your teammates better, coming from a player known for making everyone around him shine." That compliment carried weight. It's hard not to see the connection between them. In 2006, when a young Chris Paul burst onto the NBA scene, his crisp passes and fearless leadership redefined what it meant to be a modern point guard. Nearly 20 years later, Caitlin Clark is doing the same for women's basketball. Her court vision, deep-range shooting, and unwavering composure have not only elevated her team, but also transformed the way fans view the WNBA. But perhaps the most powerful part of Paul's message wasn't what he said, it was what it implied. That greatness recognizes greatness. That experience, no matter how legendary, still finds joy in watching the next generation take flight. And that the true essence of being a point god isn't just about dominating the court, it's about passing on the wisdom that keeps the game alive. For Caitlin Clark, the journey is just beginning. And if she continues with the same drive and humility that Chris Paul once had, there's no telling how far she'll go. The game evolves, the players change, but every so often, two eras collide, and the result is pure magic. This wasn't just a congratulatory message. It was a moment of recognition, a reminder that the torch isn't just handed down, it's earned through grit, grace, and the unshakable love of the game. What if that moment of recognition was never about praise, but prophecy? Caitlin Clark and the fire that fueled her comeback. When Dwight Howard spoke about Caitlin Clark during the tense weeks before the 2024 Olympic Games, few people paid attention. But looking back now, his words almost sound prophetic. While critics questioned her exclusion from the Team USA roster, Howard saw something deeper, an opportunity disguised as rejection. "She's a great player," he said at the time, "but maybe this is her moment to get sharper, stronger, and hungrier." Those few weeks off could change everything, and in a way, they did. When the Olympic break ended, Caitlin didn't just return, she transformed. Her movements were sharper, her confidence unshakable, and her court vision seemed to expand overnight. It was as if the sting of being left out had unlocked a fiercer version of herself. The same disappointment that might have broken another athlete became the spark that set her on fire. Traveling to Paris as a reserve, watching from the sidelines could have thrown off her rhythm. But instead, Caitlin used that time as fuel. Not everyone saw the big picture the way Howard did. Some said the snub was a sign that she wasn't ready, while others whispered about locker room politics and jealousy. Yet those close to the game knew better. Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas, known for seeing all angles both on and off the court, offered one of the most balanced takes. "What she's done is incredible," he said in an interview later that summer. "And what the WNBA and the media have done well, it's business." Controversy sells. Thomas wasn't wrong. The WNBA's rising popularity came with a side of chaos. Debates about favoritism, rough play, and media bias surrounded Clark's rookie season. Every hard foul, every shove, every glare seemed to generate headlines. It was as if the league itself was feeding on the drama she unintentionally brought. But Thomas's point was simple: controversy might not be good for peace, but it keeps the lights on. Back in Indiana, where basketball is almost a religion, Caitlin was still earning her place among local legends. She had the city buzzing, but few names in Hoosier history carry as much weight as Reggie Miller's. The former Pacer, known for his ice-cold precision and fearless trash talk, had his own take on Clark's early struggles. "What did she expect?" he said bluntly during a podcast appearance. "This is the WNBA. You're playing against grown women now. You've got to earn your respect just like we did." Coming from Miller, those words carried weight. He'd lived through the bruising battles of the 1990s, an era where elbows flew, tempers flared, and respect had to be carved out, not handed over. For Caitlin, the message was clear: greatness demands pain. And in her case, the hits, the headlines, and the heartbreak all became part of the story. Still, there's something undeniably different about her rise. Dwight Howard saw it early: the resilience, the discipline, the refusal to fold under pressure. While others saw a rookie overwhelmed by expectations, he saw a future champion quietly crafting her comeback. And now, with every three-pointer that electrifies a crowd and every assist that silences doubters, it's becoming harder to ignore that maybe, just maybe, Howard was right all along. Caitlin Clark didn't need a gold medal to prove her worth. She needed a moment to regroup, rebuild, and remember why she played. And when she returned, she didn't just remind the league of her talent. She redefined what it means to rise after rejection, turning absence into advantage, and proving that sometimes the greatest victories come after the hardest falls. But what if Caitlin's comeback was never just about basketball? The game changer who redefined the court. The buzz around Caitlin Clark isn't just another sports headline, it's a movement. Her presence has transformed not only how people watch women's basketball, but how they talk about it. And when legends like Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson step in to defend her, it's clear we're witnessing something far bigger than a rising star. It's the rebirth of a sport through one extraordinary player. Michael Jordan's recent comments sent shockwaves through the basketball world. In his usual calm but commanding tone, he declared that the WNBA owes Caitlin a great deal for what she's done for the game. But Jordan didn't stop there. He openly criticized the officiating, saying, "It's time for the league to protect players like Caitlin, those who carry the game on their shoulders." Coming from a man who rarely speaks on modern players, his words carried the weight of truth and respect. When the greatest of all time calls out injustice, the world listens. But why is Jordan so passionate about Clark's journey? Maybe it's because he recognizes something familiar in her, an echo of what he once faced: the burden of greatness. Caitlin doesn't just play basketball, she commands it. Every game she plays feels like a masterclass in determination, vision, and courage. Fans don't just tune in for her shooting range. They tune in for the story of the fire that drives her to keep proving herself no matter how often she's fouled, pushed, or doubted. Allen Iverson, the NBA's original rebel genius, shares that sentiment. He knows what it feels like to carry a league's attention, to walk into every game knowing that all eyes are on you, and still deliver magic. When asked about Caitlin, Iverson couldn't hide his admiration. "Man, she shoots the blood out of the ball. he laughed in an interview, shaking his head in disbelief. She's fearless, aggressive, and makes her teammates better. That's great. Iverson's words carry rare weight. He's a man who transformed basketball, his crossover, his swagger, his street-born creativity, and now he sees that same fire in Caitlin Clark. Like Iverson, she's not the biggest or strongest, but her confidence turns pressure into performance. She's redefining what dominance means. Her court vision is like a chess master's. When defenders swarm, she spots open teammates with split-second precision. And when the game's on the line, she doesn't flinch. She owns the moment. That's what separates her. She's not just a scorer, she's a leader who elevates everyone around her. Jordan believes Caitlin's rise marks a turning point for the WNBA, a moment the league can't ignore. To him, she's the bridge between what women's basketball was and what it's becoming. Bold, fast, and fiercely competitive. After years of fighting for attention, the WNBA finally has a player bringing millions of new fans to the game. But fame brings friction. Critics say she gets too much spotlight, and some opponents test her toughness. Yet every shove, every foul, every unfair whistle only fuels her more. Jordan once said champions find fuel in failure, and Caitlin proves it nightly. As Iverson put it, she's just getting started. To both legends, she's more than a star. She's a spark that could change the league forever. Caitlin Clark isn't just making shots, she's making history. And as Jordan's words echo across sports media, one question remains. If this is only the beginning, how far can she really go? One thing's certain, the game will never be the same again. So, what do you think Larry Bird truly meant with those powerful words that left Caitlin Clark speechless? We'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe.